Yeah, we back with the next episode of Sryth. Um, Last time we were doing the Stoneback Hill quest, and it was just taking a lot longer than I thought. We were 40 minutes in, and we were still just getting to this part of it. So we're just gonna continue on with that till we do the Stoneback Hill quest, and then we can hit it up to the Great Circle. So hey, thanks so much for joining me, hanging out with me. I know a lot of people probably don't want to watch people play text-based games and hear people read, but if you're here, I appreciate you. Alright, let's go. A steep, crumbling flight of stone steps rises from the floor here, climbing toward the dim light of day, far above, offering you a route of escape from this ancient place of death. An unnatural pale greenish light illuminates the interior of this musty labyrinth of twisting passages. What happens if I leave? Do we know? I don't know. I don't want to check it out. I'm just going to use a map to move around. Massive skeleton. A massive humanoid skeleton steps into the passage and turns in your direction. Upon catching sight of you, the foul undead creature hisses loudly and clatters forward to attack. Quick combat. Death to the heathens. As you take a few minutes to recover following your victory, but remains aware that staying too long in one spot will likely invite further danger. When you feel you've recovered sufficiently, you once again set off through the musty gloom. I automatically heal. Okay, these question marks usually mean some kind of special area or something's going on there, so it's always prudent to check out all those areas. The air shook with dust, making it difficult to breathe. Yes, my every move's being watched. The eerie echoing clack of horse hooves shatter the stifling silence of the tomb and send a chill to the core of your being. You spin around in a horrified to see a decaying figure dismounting from a skeletal steed. The rutting warrior, clad in a suit of rusty scaled armor, draws an ornate but badly tarnished longsword and strides forward to attack as his mount recedes into the shadows. Rotting lord. Yes, I recovered a fish sufficiently. Ghoul, you nearly cough guard up, but a lone ghoul slinks out of the shadows and attacks you. Quickly recover from the surprise and square off to face your undead assailant. We're gonna face something every step. Just literally. Okay, I'm not gonna keep reading every battle. It's weird places to be. And so I've recovered it sufficiently, so we're gonna go places, eh? Like this ghoul. Oh, cool. How is he attacking if he doesn't have legs? Wow. Rotting Hulk. Okay, we keep going north. I thought I saw something flying around. Now I can't see anything because I looked at my light. Blazing skeleton. Blazing skeleton. Is he on fire? What's this? The stench of rotting flesh is almost overpowering in the small recesses. Your eyes are immediately drawn to a figure of a man sprawled out on the ground before you, his neck broken and his head resting in a nearby impossible angle. The man's face is badly decomposed, and you can now only surmise that he's been dead for a good long while. You're suddenly taken by surprise as the man leaps to his feet and curses at you. He draws a short sword from his belt and staggers forward to attack. I mean, we're here, we fight. Small stone cube. I imagine I'm gonna need that for something. Oh my gosh, we're seriously gonna have a fight every step I take. Every little step I take, you will be there. Every little step I take, even backward steps in places I've already been. There's usually gonna be somebody attacking at every. We'll be together. Yay, one round. A dim, phantasmal figure of a young woman slides through the corridor wall and hovers the edge of the passage. The ghostly lady promptly holds out a hand and is beckoning you to take it. Yeah, we'll take it. Oh, what a sweetheart. Sweetheart, heal me. Okay. See, there's nice ghosts. And finally we got some movement here without getting attacked. The passage you've been following widens into a large chamber with an arched ceiling, which at its highest point is nearly 20 feet above your head. A stone dais rises up from the floor at the center of the room. On top of the dais sits a large stone chest. Countless bones and skull, most of them human, litter the floor in front of the dais. Suddenly you spot a tall cloaked figure standing in the shadows to the right of the dais. Long skeletal arms extend from the sleeves of the cloak as the figure motions with its skeletal hands in the direction of the chest. Whatever this undead menace is, its back is presently toward you. But we watch it. Although you cannot be certain, you seem to think that the cloaked skeletal figure is using some sort of magic on the stone chest, perhaps attempting to open it. After several minutes, you lurk in the shadows of the entrance of the chamber and watch the cloaked skeleton continually direct its silent efforts in the stone chest atop the dais. I mean, attack. You creep up behind the cloaked skeleton completely undetected and land a near crippling blow to the unsuspecting undead. The skeletal figure drops to the floor with a loud clattering of bones, but manages to regain its feet. As it turns face, you somewhat aghast to discover that its head, like the rest of its cloaked body, is still covered with rotting flesh. The gaunt, badly decomposed face of a young woman stares back at you through empty sockets. 1,000 deaths, child of the living, she hisses, as the tips of her fleshless fingers begin to glow bright. My master, lawless tomb, shall not suffer the living in his midst. You shall not suffer the living to pass. The undead sorceress collapses to the ground at your feet. Her body rises about for several minutes and then becomes still. Suddenly, the apparition of a young woman in floating green robes rises above the twisted skeletal remains and turns face you, smiling faintly. Thank you, hisses a gentle voice as the apparition fades, leaving you alone in the chamber. See, I helped her. This is why you attack, anyway. And I've got an iron wand. Examine the chest. The chest is 3 feet wide and 2 feet tall, with an ornately carved lid. The carvings on the lid depict a long procession of skeletal passing beneath the tall arch. A small keyhole, much smaller than what you expect a chest so large, is set in front of it. The chest is not locked. The stone lid is extremely heavy, but after several moments of intense strain, you manage to lift it open. What's in here? Ice cream? The chest is empty except for a thin, oddly shaped object lying in one corner. You reach it and retrieve the object, discover that it is a wooden mask. The mask is shaped like a skull, and many strange symbols are carved into its surface. Even the mask may prove important. You reach in the chest and promptly take possession of it. At the moment, your hands touch the mask as your chill runs the length of your body. Having concluded there's nothing else in the chest, you step down from the dais. Amadeus, Amadeus, Amadeus. Pause. Pause for the cause. What kind of key? Hey, you're the rain in the open, sorry, you let us through. It's a bright new star, oh, come be the burst on the block to meet his eye. Make way. You're gonna love this guy, Prince Oli, fabulous, he, Alia, Babwa. Longest in regular men, definitely. Now that's reason is why. Say hello to the There are several places. There's several things I like to say. I'm sorry, I'm reading. Silently. I know. Alright. I already looked in the stone chest, right? It's empty now. Okay, let's keep going. There's another lady to heal me. I mean, I'm good. Keep going. Keep smiling, knowing that you'll always count on me. For sure. Alright. The dim, phantasmal figure of a young woman glides through the corridor and hovers at the edge of the passage. The ghostly lady promptly holds out a hand. Another healing lady. Oh, very sweet. Through good times and bad times. The moment you step into the alcove, your eyes are drawn to a small stone cube that sits on the floor against for a wall. The note with some curiosity that stone cube is identical to the cube you've already discovered in the tomb. As you've reached down to pick the small stone cube, a rush of air from above gives you a start. You glance upward to see a sight that makes your blood run cold. Dropping the ceiling towards you is a giant bat-like creature. Fail. God in pain. Creature's long outstretched talons dig into your flesh. The beast gives an enraged shriek as you sprint to your feet and turn to face your enemy. The creature standing in the alcove before you is certainly something straight out of a nightmare. The tall, willowy being is a body and the face of a young man, but jutting out of his back are a pair of thick, leathery bat wings. Long white fangs protrude from the creature's mouth. It's a vampire. A forked tongue flickers in and out of it's the devil of its gaping jaws. The horrific beast emits a terrifying shriek and rushes forward to attack it out. Its outreached talons poised to tear you to shreds. Flight from this creature is not possible. You must face it to the death. Okay, your death, not mine. A puzzle creature emits a final gas and slumps to the floor at your feet. You watch it in astonishment as its body slowly dissolves into a pool of thick, fetid oil. Gross. A pungent odor rises from the pool, causing your eyes to water. You decide to take the small cube and leave the alcohol as quickly as possible. Everything stinks in this world. Every time I look, I'm about to throw up. Or something. Because it stinks. Alright. South, south, north. Let's go west. What's in here? An elaborate shield of stone hangs on the west wall of the narrow recess of this. Shield is nearly 6 feet high. 4 feet across and over a foot thick. It is indeed a weighty piece. From the very center of the yard hanging piece protrudes a small stone cube. It looks as if you could simply remove the cube from the shield if you wanted to. Okay. Thievery it is. An ancient trap cleverly hidden in the stone shield proves no match for your thievery skills. A smile of satisfaction spreads across your face as you numbly something's nimbly. It's on the deadly snare. Had you accidentally triggered a trap, you might as well have been crushed beneath the weighty shield. With the trap disarmed, you promptly take possession of the small stone cube. Okay, thanks. I have like so many cubes. What's up? Alright, goes out. The thin iron lever protrudes from the wall of a small alcove. The lever is quite rusted but appears solid. Yeah, now I'm not done looking around before I be pressing levers. The passage comes to an abrupt in a thick door of stone. It sits in the middle of the western wall. The door is closed and does not appear to be any means of opening it. Probably have to press that lever. I'm gonna go north though. Neck of ghastly horns suddenly fill the hall, startling you as you soon battle ready. Stands prepared to face the unexpected. Out of the passage to the east emerges a group of 4 skeleton clad in a combination of tattered soft leather armor and rusty chain mail. Each of these undead wield a spear, and upon seeing you, they move forward in unison, their weapons poised to strike. The tabard worn by each of these long dead soldiers bears an embroidered likeness of the dragon's head. I'm going to show you the full combat so you can have a look while I mute the mic. You didn't hear all else I said. Well, I used something else right quick. Sorry. I gotta do my Duolingo, otherwise it'll cut me out. Chave. No. Carta. Sí. Hola. Português, huh? Com licença. I did a quick one. Do you speak Português? Sí. Yeah, I'm cool like that. No, sorry. Ele fala inglês. I do not speak English. Hola. Eu falo inglês. I do speak English. Excuse me, police. 10 in a row. Hola. Prazer em conhecer você. Oh, I can't believe that's right, because I did not remember. Eu... What? Eu não falo português. Ele fala. Oi, prazer em conhecer você. Português. That's what I put. Oh, it's ooh. Oops. Com licença. Você tem água. Excuse me, do you have water? Yes. Prazer em conhecer você. Ela fala português. I hate these keyboards. Yeah, it was tough, but I'm great, I know. Now, disculpe. Português. Winning. Alright, where are we going? This way. And then we're going north. A sudden and vicious snarl from a shadowy stop. The shadows stop you dead in your tracks. 3 large hounds emerge from the darkness ahead, their decaying heads still affixed to rotting necks that protrude from their worm-ridden torsos. The dogs rush forward, gnashing their bare fangs as they prepare to make a meal out of the living. Quick combat. Oh, it had some kind of commercial. I could have done it in the next hour. How rude. It's like, if you don't do it now, you lose your streak. With a pitiful howl, the final hound falls to the floor at your feet. His head now severed from his rotting torso. You quickly step to the remains of the dogs and continue away. Dead hounds, bro. Gross. Right, sound. tall skeleton clad in a large suit of decaying plate armor rises up from a pile of bones and strides toward you. With a heavy hammer, it's the skeleton of an ogre. Wow. Trollbone mallet, sure. I'll take it. I don't have time. I don't have carry weight for all this. It won't let me sell stuff. I'm good. Okay, I gotta go the other way. The rattle of chains and mournful wail signals the arrival of a ghastly apparition. The pale green spirit rises from the floor before you, its non-corporeal body garbed in flowing robe, over which hangs a set of heavy-looking iron chains. The spirit raises its head and finds that you're staring into the eyes of a middle-aged bearded man. The face of the apparition is badly decomposed and covered with festering sores. So too shall you join us in the dark, it wails ominously. Nah, I'm not gonna go here yet, because I haven't done the rest of the tomb, and I'm figuring this is in-game. For this tomb, I mean. So what I'm gonna do is go back the other way and go south, so I can get that other joint. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah, we're taking the same route. I could have quickly headed to the tomb's entrance. Do I need healing? I could probably use some healing. I'll get the one up north. Knowing that you'll always count on me. Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make it a better place if you can. Alright, we're going south. This way. Disculpe. That means sorry. In Portuguese. I think the door of stone is... Oh, this is blocked. Because I didn't press that lever. I should have pressed that lever, huh? I didn't want to be stuck. What you got for me? Oh, it's another healer. She's all over the place. Is it the same one? Do we know that? Listen to what I say. The passage you're following reaches a dead end. You're about to turn around and head back when suddenly a tall robed figure steps forth from the shadows and comes to stand in the middle of the passage. You quickly assume a defenseless posture, but this figure, whose face is obscured in the shadow of an oversized hood, does not attack. Instead, the strange being begins to speak in a low but commanding voice. Answer me correctly, daughter of the living. You shall be granted one of 4. Okay. All is silent for several seconds, till at last the being begins to speak again. You carefully listen to the strange being recite what you believe to be a riddle. A hero for all ages was he whose Aldvarian blade knew no equal. His sinewy steel tasted the hide of serpents and the bone of the wicked. Alas, the bravery could not spare him the treachery that arrived in sleep. For of whom do I speak, daughter of living? Okay, this guy's waiting on me to answer something that I don't know the answer to. Jeez. I think I do know the answer. I think I remember. Look at Seer. Whoop! Mysterious robed figure nods his head slowly and extends a glove hand to you. This being unfurls its long spindly fingers to reveal a small stone cube resting in the worn leather rip spawn. Take it and be gone, said the low but commanding voice. The robed figure steps silently back into the shadows against the far wall. You scarcely had time to react when the strange being suddenly appears in thin air. You form quick. Oh, he disappears. Such as ever, there's no sign of the tall robed figure. Alright, finish that. Okay, what's down south? Oh, it's another healer. This girl is everywhere. And this is the way out. Alright, I think what I gotta do is put on the stone mask or whatever. Is it like on their head or something? Yep. I hate this. So we're gonna start with that, and then what I'm gonna do is go ahead and press the lever. I guess that just opens the passageway. I thought it would be an issue, but it doesn't seem like it will be. Go. Look at these footprints. That's one of my questions. Are these little yellow dashes? You can't really see them unless you're zoomed in. But they're little yellow dashes for everywhere I've been. I've been down this road before. Alright, we're going. Alright, you're standing in a wide chamber in a high ceiling. The walls of the room are covered in carvings of hideous skeletal beings. Without exception, each of the carved skeletons is facing a tall stone arch set into the west wall. You know, there's some degree of inch of the skulls on the skeleton carved on the walls bear a striking resemblance to the wooden skull mask you were carrying. See? Put the mask on. The stone arch set in the western wall of the chamber is decorated in much of the same hideous motif as the rest of this room. Gaunt skeleton face carved the stones that make up what seem to be stare back at you, and as your eyes pass over them. Looking through the dreadful portal, you can see nothing but total darkness. Even your light doesn't seem to be able to penetrate the wall of shadow. This must be a shadow gate. You stand in front of the arch, and you suddenly beset with overwhelming sense of dread. Divination! The use of power, you're unable to sense the strong aura of evil surrounding the arch. You also sense the powerful evil lurks in the darkness just beyond the arch. Under the wrong circumstances, without proper precaution, you feel that stepping into the arch could prove fatal. I mean, could, but, you know, what else we finna do? You're surrounded in shade the moment you step through the arch and find yourself standing at one end of a long, narrow stone corridor. Although you cannot see any source of illumination, the entire length of the hall is lit by a dim greenish light. Nearly 50 yards from where you're now standing, the hall ends at a stone door. The sense of dread that you feel while standing before the arch is intensified. You cannot help but believe that you're in the presence of powerful evil. Let's keep going. You cautiously advance along the narrow corridor towards the stone door. You've gone less than 10 yards when suddenly something takes hold of your foot. You look down and horrified to discover a pair of skeletal hands have reached up from the solid stone floor and take hold of your left foot. As you struggle to pull yourself free of your assailant's vice-like grip, you note that the mounting horror that hundreds of pairs of fleshless arms and hands have begun to protrude from the walls, floor, and ceiling of this passage. Continue. In the midst of the struggle to free yourself from the skeletal hands that have clamped onto your feet, another pair of fleshless hands closed around your right arm. Before you were able to react, the fingers of a third pair of skeleton hands dig into your left forearm. You're dragged to the floor despite a valiant effort to maintain your footing. Suddenly, the wooden skull mask you're wearing emits a ghoulish shriek, and instantly the skeletal hand that has been bitten into your flesh release their grip. You stagger to your feet and watch in silence as hundreds of pairs of skeletal arms and hands protruding to the walls, floor, and ceiling of the passage suddenly and simultaneously withdraw. Bewildered but thankful you survived such a grisly encounter, you hurry along the remaining passage and arrive at the stone door. The stone door at the end of the passage appears to be little more than a wrecked slab of stone. There's no visible hinges or latch in the heavy makeshift portal. You are filled with the renewed sense of dread as you stand before the door. Well, we got stones, we might as well use them, eh? Hey. Use it. What? That's what I just did. Okay, we gotta keep using them. It has no special use here. Okay, what else have I picked up here? Maybe this one. Is this where I got this? No. Guess not. Black core. Well, what I have. I don't have a key. This is nice. That's nice. I guess maybe there was something in that chest. Because it could have been searched again. Well, this is dumb. Alright, we're gonna go down south here and open this passageway. I can't remember where that chest was. I don't. I think up north somewhere. What I'm gonna do is press this lever, pull the lever, and now we're open sesame right here to the other side. Alright, I think the chest is up north, so let's go north. Was it in here? No. And it was up here. I examine the stone chest. The stone chest is, examine the chest. Closer to the hole, we're certain. You're not certain you have anything that'll fit it. So maybe this takes the cubes. You're killing me right now. Okay. What else have I gotten from this place? This thing. Use it. This with the iron wand fits perfectly into the small round holes. Suddenly, a small compartment concealed at the bottom of the chest slides over, revealing a small key made out of bone. When you finish here, you step down from the dais. Okay, so now I got a key. A key! Okay, about west. At least I'm not getting attacked every 2 seconds now. South, west, south, east, south, east, east, north, east, north, yeah. Alright, got a key this time. What do I need these stone things for? There's too much going on here. Alright, we're back at it. In through the archway. Step through the archway. Proceed down the hall. We're not reading this again. Then we're gonna do the key this time. This one, right? Attempt to open the door. Use the key. Yay! The small bone key fits perfectly into the keyhole. You give the key a gentle turn and hear a soft click. Suddenly the stone slab shudders and begins to sink into the floor. You quickly retrieve your key and watch as a large piece of stone that once sealed off the end of this passage disappeared from view. In a matter of seconds, the stone door has completely disappeared, its top edge level with the rest of the floor. With a now familiar sense of dread clawing at you, you pass over the space formerly occupied by the heavy portal and step into a large arch chamber. This is teaching you a lesson that it doesn't matter if you have fear, keep it moving anyway. The moment you step into the chamber, a heavy stone slab drops from the ceiling, sliding off the door. Sealing off the doorway behind you, the sense of fear that has assailed your senses since entering the tomb is now stronger than ever. Foul, overpowering odor fills the room. There's the odors. Make your eyes water and nearly cause you to retch. See? Every time! Suddenly, a soft greenish light. Plus, we gotta get some constitution here if everything's gonna stink, or get some nose plugs. The chamber illuminating a terrifying scene, the light also reveals the reason for the nauseating odor, the source of your unshakable fear. Piles of bones and heaps of rotting flesh cover the floor of the chamber from wall to wall. And as far end over the 50 yards of where you stand, you could make out a swirling black portal set against the wall. You're certain this portal is a shadow path, an everal gateway used by a Voren-Thul to move between this world and the shadowy nether realm of the Naverners. Your heart skips several beats and your entire body trembles involuntarily as a lone hooded figure in flowing black robes emerges from the swirling portal and steps into the chamber. Your pulse quickens as you realize that you're now in the presence of Voren-Thul. The powerful undead turns its head towards you and throws back its hood revealing the rotting head of a man. The eyes of the undead abomination are sewn shut, and long strands of black hair still cling to its decaying scalp. The Voren-Thul emits a guttural snarl and raises its black clawed hands in unison. Your heart races as even as several piles of bones rotting flesh begin to move. Oh no, he's setting up people up. For the piles of bones near the center of the chamber raise three large skeletal beings. These hulking undead figures pick up large bones fragments from the debris at their feet and begin stalking towards you, making their makeshift clubs poised to strike. As you draw closer, you determine that they are skeletons of forest trolls, now under the control of the Voren-Thul. With little choice but to fight for your life, you stand your ground and meet the attack of the undead trolls. Quick combat, death to the heathens. The last skeletal trolls crash to the ground at your feet. You quickly step over the remains as you contemplate your next course of action. On the far side of the room, next to the shadow gate, the Voren-Thul snarls and raises its clawed, rotting hands and begins to prepare to raise more of the dead in this chamber. You realize your only hope of survival has somehow reached the Voren-Thul and defeat it before you're overwhelmed by the undead minions. Gating. What? Voren-Thul emits a guttural snarl, raises its black clawed hands in unison. Your heart begins to race, and you prepare to convert another of the creatures summoned undead as several of the piles of bones and rotting flesh begin to move. Out of the heaps of carnage that fills the chamber, there rise a motley assortment of undead. A gruesome legion of skeletons and half-rotting corpses stalk across the chamber towards you, hell-bent on your destruction, as commanded by the powerful master. Are there gonna be more than one? Okay, let's try necromancy this time. Jeez! It's the same text. Okay, let's try gating one more time. Thank you! A shimmering black portal opens to your left, and you quickly step into it, merging only seconds later directly in front of Voren-Thul. Before the undead menace can react to your sudden appearance, you throw yourself at the creature, attempt to push it back in the shadow path. Woot woot! Your body slams into the Voren-Thul with a tremendous force, sending it, the horrid creature, careening backwards toward the swirling shadow path. The undead horror teaches them a moment in the break of the Neverwheel gate before finally toppling backwards in the void and disappearing from sight. Now we gotta close the gate. Yeah, right. Can we use the stones now? Finalmente. Use. Okay. Can I use the mask I have on? No. What else do I have? Jeez! That I got from this place. How about the key? No key. You're killing me. I mean, it didn't tell me what item, so let's go and fight. When we step to the swirling shadow path, you find yourself tumbling into the pitch black void. Like how many people can say they've been through a shadow path, unable to determine which direction you're moving. After nearly a minute of tumbling, the darkness lifts, and to your surprise, you're sitting on the stone floor of a long, narrow chamber illuminated by the pulsing orange light that emanates from a series of large orbs floating in the ceiling. At the opposite end of the chamber, more than 20 yards from you stands the Voren-Thul. Next to the swirling shadow path, you suddenly note, much to your dismay, that the shadow path appears to be closing. You realize that Voren-Thul is trying to trap you on this side of the portal. With a vicious snarl, the Voren-Thul steps into the rapidly shrinking portal and disappears from sight. Panic overcomes you as you realize you might make it through the portal before it closes and risk being stuck here forever. As you dash across the chamber toward the shrinking shadow path, a large figure of shadow rises up from the floor in front of the portal. The hulking shadow figures stalk towards you, obviously intending to keep you from reaching the shadow path. Then to be the sad release of the darkness and the void, the portal envelopes you, but mere seconds you manage to escape the eternal prison the Voren-Thul sought to trap you. Suddenly the darkness is lifted and you find yourself back in the long arched chamber directly in front of the swirling shadow path and directly behind the unsuspecting Voren-Thul. Where the horrid undead lord is aware of your presence, you tear into your unsuspecting enemy with a savage attack. His surprise attack is both brutal and effective. Badly wounded, the Voren-Thul spins to face you, its hideous visage sending wave of revulsion through your body. The powerful undead creature begins to slowly retreat toward the corner of the chamber. You're determined never to see into this undead horror here and now, but as you move toward the enemy, a ghastly wail of behind you freezes in your track. You spin around to face the source of the sound, completely unprepared for the sight that greets your eyes. Rising up from the heaps of carnage on the floor are 24 blue-robed skeletal figures. Their fleshless undead is a ragged blue rose begins slowly slipping through the piles of bones and rot as they close in on you. Blue robes, you're horrified when you realize these robed undead now stalking you are the monks of Stoneback Monastery who went missing in the cold autumn night nearly 300 years ago. The skeletal monks hiss and wail pitifully as they execute the vows of death, intent on serving the will of their master by slaying them. Living within the midst, the undead monks are moving to encircle you, but they're moving slowly enough that you feel they can reach for and thought. Can I use necromancy? Okay, succeeded, but the Voren-Thul howls in rage and begins to raise its clawed hands as if summoning more undead, but before it completes its motion, you forward and strike down its arms, causing the fearsome creature to almost every recoil and shock. You stride forward, prepared to meet the Voren-Thul in combat. The Voren-Thul backs into the corner chamber as you approach. When it no longer has room to retreat, it stomps viciously and extends its razor-sharp black claws. A wave of intense fear passes through you as it's all you can do to keep from taking fleeing at the face of it. Suddenly, a loud clattering fills the chamber, and you look over your shoulder. You see hundreds of skeletons right on the piles of bone that list the floor. The skeletons begin to hiss as they stalk across the chamber to defense their master. The volume of the combined voices a near deafening gale. Realizing your only chance of survival is to destroy the Voren-Thul, you summon your last ounce of courage and stride boldly forward and attack the ancient undead terror. Quick combat. Death to the heathen. When final anguish snarl, the Voren-Thul staggers forward and collapses on the floor of the tomb. The ancient undead menace, many centuries departed from the world of living, is no more. Suddenly realizing that the deafening hiss of risen skeletal legion has died to a mere whisper, you turn around and feast your eyes on the welcome sight. One by one, all about the chamber, the Voren-Thul's risen undead minions come to the ground, devoid of the will of their master and spared from the torture of life after death. In a matter of moments, and a single skeleton remained standing in the long arched chamber. In the wake of the passing of the Voren-Thul, eerie, almost unnatural silence has fallen over the tomb. With your footfalls echoing loudly in the unnerving sight, you move over to examine the creature's remains. You discover several items of interest among the belonging of the forever departed undead lord. A black ring, a tattered scroll, a small leather pouch, and an elixir of torrent. What's that? About it, I'm particularly recommend you save before you sip. Oh, okay, so some kind of evil potion that I've been given. You're about to step away from the remains of the foul creature you notice on top of the iron lid poking from the bottom. She left with curious the outraged cautious. You quickly clear away the pile of rotting flesh to reveal a large wrought iron chest. The heavy wrought iron chest on the floor in front of you is covered with carvings that depict some sort of gruesome ritual. Many dozens of skeletal figures march toward a robed figure in the center of the front panel of the chest, his arms raised as he holds aloft what appears to be a large tome. You curiously note that the chest is actually a solid unit with no visible separation between its lids and lower portions. As the top of the lid are set to a series of 4 small square impressions. Your mind races to begin to ponder what may reside within so protective and enclosed. Looks one more at the top of the chest, you believe that the small square impressions must have something to do with opening it. If you do not possess the required item or items, you must abandon the chest, for it's too heavy to carry with you and sealed by powerful magic not of this world. Well, we're finally going to use these stone cubes. Here's up. You place the 4 stone cubes and the 4 impressions on top of the iron chest. For a moment, nothing happens, but then, without warning, the chest shutters, and the four stone cubes sink into the chest and become flush with the top of the lid. Suddenly, the heavy iron lid separates into two halves and slides off the chest, landing on the floor in the tomb with a loud clang. You step forward and peer into the open chest. What's in there? Filling nearly the entire interior of the chest is a large, well-worn leather tome. The massive book appears to be very ancient. Upon its weather cover is stitched in a thread of silver, the likeness of a hideous glaring skull. A row of 5 smaller impressions is set into the cover just above the silver thread skull. The first of these impressions with opaque black gemstone. An easy feeling comes over you as you gaze down the tome and find yourself sickly drawn to the black gem set in the cover. Before you realize what you're doing, your hand reaches out and touches the cover of the tome, and your fingers come to rest on the small gem. An icy pain stabs your fingers, shoots leaving the eye, and you suddenly withdraw your hand from the tome. The stranger suddenly leaves you winded and aching, but with a keen desire to further examine the weighted book, you reach in and retrieve it from the chest. It's a book for me. Massive leather tome. What am I supposed to do with it? Alright. Take care to avoid touching the black gemstone set in its cover. You cautiously open the leather tome and flip through its thick, time-worn pages. You're surprised to find all the pages are empty. You realize the tome is obviously great importance to some capacity, or it would not have been protected in such a manner. Despite the overall unsettling nature of this book, you felt it would be a mistake not to take it with you. When you're ready to continue, you set about making your way from the chamber. You wind your way through the piles of carnage toward the spot you first entered the chamber. Much to your relief, you discover the doorway is no longer blocked by the heavy slab of stone that seals you into the chamber upon entry. Despite the fact that you have vanquished the Voren-Thul, you realize you are still in danger along you remain in this ancient tomb. With that in mind, you decide to find your way out of this place as quickly as possible. You step through the doorway and move rapidly across the narrow passage beyond, passing beneath the arch at the far end. You're standing in the wide chamber in the high ceiling. The wall of the room are covered with carvings of hideous skeletal beings. Without exception, each of the carved skeletons facing you. Yep, I have no desire to step through the passage again. Quick, head to the entrance and let's be out, okay? We out. Emerge from the tomb into the dim light and fresh air of early morning. The cheerful melodies of several nearby songbirds seem to strangely out of pace in the grim setting of the ancient graveyard. You move away from the entrance to the tomb and spend the next short while resting before you prepare to make your journey to Sryth and announce the success of your adventures to Thane Pyroid. Hey, long one, but that's it. We will talk to the Thane next episode. Hopefully get to sell some of our stuff, because we are over encumbered. Well, we're gonna be soon. Thank you so much for joining me. You know what I'm gonna say. Peace. Peace in the Middle East. You know what I mean.